The grand amphitheater of the Galactic Sports Federation sparkled like a diamond caught in perpetual sunrise, its crystalline architecture designed to amplify both sound and spectacle. Today's session, however, was producing more gas than applause. High Chancellor Luminix, a being composed purely of oscillating energy patterns, hovered at the central podium. Their form rippled with barely contained amusement as they read Earth's application for membership in the Federation's elite division. Your species, Luminix's translated voice resonated through the chamber, has been spacefaring for barely 3 centuries, and you dare to petition for elite status. The energy patterns forming their approximate face swirled in what passed for a smirk among the Nexarians. The Federation's governing council, composed of various energy-based and higher-dimensional species, stirred in their gravity-suspended pods. The Nexarians had dominated the elite division for the past millennium, their natural ability to transform into pure energy, making them unbeatable in most conventional sports. The application stands, announced Earth's representative, a holographic projection identified as Ambassador Reed. We request full participation rights in the upcoming Galactic Championships. Archival footage played above the chamber, showcasing Nexarian athletes phasing through solid matter, splitting into multiple energy forms, and manipulating gravitational fields as easily as humans might juggle. Their current champion, Xerix-9, had famously completed the Infinity Marathon, a race through folded space-time, in what appeared to be -3 seconds. Very well. Luminix's form pulsed with anticipation. As per Federation bylaws, any new species seeking elite status must complete the 5 trials of athletic transcendence. Your champion will face our defending victor, Xerix-9. The chamber's atmospheric processors barely contained the wave of amused energy releases, the equivalent of suppressed laughter from the assembled delegates. We accept, Ambassador Reed replied. Our champion arrives tomorrow. And who? Luminix's energy form expanded with curiosity. Is this remarkable specimen of human athletic achievement? The holographic display shifted, showing a figure in what appeared to be standard Earth exercise attire, compression leggings and a moisture-wicking top. This is Astra Novak, professional rock climbing instructor and part-time marathon enthusiast. The silence that followed was broken only by the sound of several energy beings accidentally destabilizing their containment fields in shock. A recreational athlete. Xerix-9's voice crackled through the chamber. Not a genetically enhanced super soldier or quantum-modified champion. Nope, Ambassador Reed smiled. Just someone who really enjoys staying active. She also teaches hot yoga on Thursdays. High Chancellor Luminix's form flickered rapidly, the equivalent of a stunned blink. You cannot be serious. The trials have caused quantum-stable beings to dissolve into their component atoms. Oh, don't worry, Reed assured them. Astra once completed an ultramarathon through Death Valley because, and I quote, the regular ones were getting a bit too easy. She'll be fine. The Federation Council exchanged worried glances as the implications sank in. They had expected Earth to send their ultimate warrior. Instead, they were getting someone who considered breaking the laws of physics to be part of a balanced workout routine. The Federation's preparatory chamber hummed with the resonant energy signatures of dozens of elite officials conducting their mandatory pre-competition scans. Astra Novak stood in the center of their scrutiny, casually adjusting her smartwatch while holographic instruments passed through her body. Fascinating, muttered Chief Medical Officer Vortexia, their spiral form twisting in confusion. Your cellular structure is completely ordinary. No quantum reinforcement, no temporal stabilization, not even basic gravitational compensation implants. Would it help if I showed you my gym membership card? Astra offered, pulling a water bottle from her bag. Though I should mention, I mostly use the rock wall and sometimes the spin class when it's raining outside. Xerix-9 materialized nearby, their championship energy form, creating small auroras in the chamber's atmosphere. This must be some kind of tactical deception. No species would send an unaugmented recreational athlete to face the trials. Actually, Astra said between sips of her electrolyte drink, I almost didn't make it. Had to reschedule my beginner's parkour class. But my students said they'd watch the live stream, so that worked out. The scanning equipment suddenly sparked and shut down. Senior Technician Flux, 7 emerged from behind the console, their binary energy pattern displaying clear signs of distress. High Chancellor, we're getting impossible readings. According to our instruments, she's simultaneously at peak physical condition and completely average. Astra glanced at her watch. Oh yeah, that happens. My personal trainer says it's because I have really good base fitness, but also terrible workout discipline. I keep forgetting to log my reps. High Chancellor Luminix's form crackled with growing concern. You understand that the first trial begins in 1 hour? The gravity gauntlet has caused quantum-stabilized beings to collapse into singularities. Perfect timing, Astra brightened, pulling out a protein bar. That's just enough time for my pre-workout snack. Quick question. Are energy gels allowed during the trials? I'm training for an ultramarathon next month and need to stick to my nutrition plan. The assembled Federation officials watched in horrified fascination as she began a series of casual stretching exercises while simultaneously checking her social media feed. Oh, neat, she commented. My Sunday hiking group is watching. Should I wave to the cameras? Xerix, 9 approached Luminix, their energy form pulsing with urgent frequencies. Chancellor, this cannot be legitimate. I've spent 3 centuries perfecting my quantum phase shifting for the gravity gauntlet. She's doing jumping jacks while watching cat videos. Actually, Astra corrected, now in a perfect split position. These are goat videos. They're wearing tiny sweaters and jumping on trampolines. Want to watch? It's great for mindfulness. The Federation Strategic Assessment Committee huddled in an emergency conference, their combined energy signatures creating a miniature aurora borealis in the corner. Their hastily compiled report contained only 3 words. We don't understand. As the time for the first trial approached, Astra finished her warm-up routine, applied some chalk to her hands, and double-checked her shoelaces. One more thing. She asked the increasingly nervous officials, are we allowed to play music during the trials? Because I've got this great playlist called Songs to Break Physics and it really helps with pacing. In the observation deck, Ambassador Reed watched the proceedings with barely concealed amusement. Next to them, a junior Federation analyst was furiously updating Earth's threat assessment from physically unremarkable to terrifyingly casual about the impossible. The gravity gauntlet arena stretched before them like an Escher painting given 3-dimensional form. Floating platforms phased between different gravitational orientations, while quantum tunnels created paths that somehow managed to be simultaneously above, below, and perpendicular to each other. The rules are simple, High Chancellor Luminix announced to the packed stadium. Navigate from the starting platform to the victory beacon. Each section exists in its own gravitational field, ranging from 0G to 300 times standard gravity. Champions may use any natural abilities to... Sorry to interrupt. Astra raised her hand while adjusting her ponytail, but is that a coffee shop in the spectators' area? Because I forgot my pre-workout caffeine, and this looks like it might take a while. The silence that followed was broken only by the sound of several quantum probability fields collapsing in confusion. This is not a leisure activity. Xerix 9's energy form pulsed with indignation. This is the most challenging gravitational obstacle course in the known universe. Oh, cool. Astra nodded, returning with what appeared to be a quadruple espresso. Kind of like that Ninja Warrior course back home, but with more physics violations. Quick question. Are we allowed to chalk up between sections? These platforms look kind of slippery. Before anyone could respond, the starting signal pulsed through the quantum field. Xerix, 9 immediately transformed into pure energy, streaming elegantly between platforms while perfectly compensating for the gravitational shifts. The crowd gasped in appreciation at their masterful display of energy manipulation. Then they noticed Astra. She was treating the entire course like what she called a parkour playground, flowing between platforms with a casual grace that seemed to completely ignore the laws of physics. In the zero-G sections, she used her coffee cup as a makeshift propulsion system, precisely calculating thrust vectors with leftover espresso. Impossible, a Federation physicist screamed, tearing at their probability matrices. She's in a 300G zone. How is she doing one-arm push-ups? Oh, this? Astra called back, now casually performing what she called a gravity-assisted muscle-up between dimensional planes. Yeah, it's great for core strength, though I should probably count this as my arm day. The observation deck had descended into chaos. The Strategic Assessment Committee was frantically rewriting their understanding of human physical capabilities, while the Sports Science Division had collectively given up and started a support group. She's not even using energy manipulation, Xerix 9 protested, watching Astra treat a quantum uncertainty field like a trampoline. She's just jumping really well. Actually, Astra corrected, now running upside down on a platform experiencing inverted gravity. This is pretty similar to the advanced bouldering course at my gym, except, with more existential uncertainty about which way is up. Also, does anyone want the rest of my coffee? The caffeine's making the quantum tunnels look a bit sparkly. As she approached the final section, Astra pulled out her phone and started recording. My parkour students are going to love this part, she explained to a nearby probability field. We've been working on precision jumps, and this whole every direction is simultaneously down thing really adds a nice twist, with a final, graceful flip that somehow managed to utilize 4 different gravitational fields at once. Astra landed perfectly on the victory platform. She immediately checked her fitness tracker. Only burned 500 calories. Guess I'll have to hit the regular gym later. Xerix 9, still 3 quantum fields behind, could only watch in stunned disbelief as Astra started doing cool-down stretches while simultaneously posting highlights to her social media feed. The Federation's Gravity Control Division had to be escorted from the premises, muttering something about rewriting all known laws of physics. 2 members had already started a research paper titled Human Spatial Adaptation. Why even bother with rules? High Chancellor Luminix's energy form had developed several concerning fluctuations. How? How did you calculate the quantum gravitational interfaces? Oh, I didn't, Astra shrugged, now checking her heart rate. I just figured if I kept moving forward and didn't look down, it'd work out. Kind of like when you're climbing, and try not to think about the height. By the way, is there a water fountain around here? All that gravity-defying really dehydrates you. In the diplomatic section, Ambassador Reed was calmly updating Earth's file. Standard human athletic ability note. What other species call impossible challenges we call Tuesday at the gym. Recommend updating all physical difficulty assessments accordingly. The Federation's medical team, meanwhile, had just one question. What exactly was in that coffee? The energy synchronization chamber pulsed with pure quantum potential, its walls shifting between states of matter and energy. Unlike the physical challenges of the gravity gauntlet, this trial tested a species' ability to manipulate and harmonize with raw cosmic forces. The objective, Luminix explained, their form rippling with barely contained skepticism, is to achieve perfect resonance with the chamber's energy matrix. Most beings require decades of quantum attunement to even attempt this. Astra, now sitting cross-legged on her yoga mat, looked up from adjusting her wireless earbuds. Cool, so it's like finding your flow state, but with more quantum physics. She pulled out what appeared to be a small electronic device. Mind if I use my meditation app? It has this great setting called Cosmic Background Radiation White Noise. Xerix 9, already perfectly aligned with the chamber's frequencies, vibrated with disbelief. This isn't some simple meditation exercise. This is about achieving fundamental harmony with the universe's base energy state. Oh, that reminds me, Astra brightened. This is kind of like that hot quantum yoga class I've been meaning to try back on Earth. They do it in a room filled with probability fields. Great for flexibility. Apparently, the trial began. Zurich's 9 transformed into their purest energy state, their form becoming one with the chamber's quantum matrix in a display of perfect resonance. The spectators watched in awe as they demonstrated mastery over the fundamental forces of reality. Then they noticed Astra. She had somehow achieved perfect quantum alignment while doing what she called her regular Tuesday morning routine. Her casual sun salutations were creating ripples in the probability field that matched the chamber's frequencies exactly. Impossible, the Federation's quantum harmonics expert declared, their instruments sparking from overload. She's achieving multidimensional resonance through breathing exercises. It's all about mindfulness, Astra explained between poses, her movements somehow incorporating 7 different quantum states simultaneously. Though I should probably count this as my meditation session for the day. My wellness app is going crazy with all these quantum fluctuations. The observation deck had dissolved into chaos once again. The quantum physics division was furiously debating whether to rewrite their understanding of consciousness or just give up and take up yoga themselves. 3 senior scientists had already downloaded meditation apps. She's not even trying to manipulate the energy fields. Zurich's 9 protested, watching as Astra's casual stretching created perfect quantum harmonics. She's just really relaxed. Actually, Astra commented, now performing what she called a quantum-enhanced downward dog. This is great for working out the kinks from that gravity course earlier. Though the probability fields do make it interesting. Kind of like hot yoga, but with more existential uncertainty. As the trial reached its peak intensity, Astra pulled out a small spray bottle. Anyone mind if I use my essential oils? They're great for quantum alignment. Plus, this lavender blend really helps with the whole becoming one with the cosmic forces vibe. The Federation's Consciousness Studies Department collectively needed a moment to process what they were witnessing. 2 members had already started a research paper titled Mindfulness and Matrix Manipulation. Why didn't we think of this? Luminix's energy form had developed several new frequency patterns that their medical team couldn't quite explain. How? How are you achieving quantum resonance without formal training? Oh, Astra shrugged, now in a perfect headstand while simultaneously existing in 3 quantum states. It's kind of like finding your rhythm in a really good workout. You just sort of go with the flow. By the way, does anyone want to join my quantum meditation circle after this? I'm thinking of making it a weekly thing. In the diplomatic section, Ambassador Reed was calmly adding another note to Earth's file. Standard human adaptability note. What other species achieve through centuries of training, humans accomplish through casual hobby practices. Recommend updating all spiritual and consciousness-based assessments accordingly. The Federation's energy manipulation experts had just one question left. Can we get the name of that meditation app? The temple arena defied conventional description, its track weaving through pockets of accelerated and decelerated time. Light itself seemed to stutter and stretch as temporal distortions created a maze of warped chronology. The temporal sprint, Luminix announced, their voice echoing both before and after they spoke, requires participants to navigate through variable time fields while maintaining temporal coherence. A single misstep could age you 1,000 years or reverse your personal timeline. Astra, lacing up what she called her lucky running shoes, looked up with interest. So it's like interval training, but with time instead of distance? Cool. Mind if I do my regular warm-up routine? Don't want to pull a temporal hamstring. Zurich's 9, their energy form already perfectly attuned to the time streams, radiated disbelief. This isn't a simple running exercise. Athletes have been lost to the time vortexes, never to return. Oh, that reminds me, Astra said, checking her sports watch. Is this going to affect my heart rate monitoring? I'm trying to stay in zone 2 for endurance training. The sprint began. Zurich's 9 transformed into a pure energy stream, surfing the temporal currents with practiced precision. Their form flickered between past and future states, maintaining perfect chronological balance. Then everyone noticed Astra's approach. She was treating the entire temple maze like what she called a progressive training run, somehow maintaining a perfectly steady pace despite passing through zones where time moved at wildly different speeds. In sections where time flowed backwards, she simply ran in reverse, claiming it was great for working different muscle groups. Inconceivable, the Federation's chief temple physicist exclaimed, their instruments smoking from paradox overload. She's maintaining metabolic consistency across temporal boundaries using runner's breathing techniques. It's all about pacing, Astra explained while casually jogging through a section where time moved sideways. Though I should probably log this as a long run. The tempo displacement really ups the cardio factor. The observation deck had reached a new level of chaos. The tempo mechanics division was desperately trying to understand how someone could treat time dilation as a form of resistance training. 2 senior researchers had already signed up for marathon training. She's not even attempting to manipulate the time streams. Xerix 9 protested, watching as Astra's steady rhythm somehow synchronized with the temporal fluctuations. She's just running really consistently. Actually, Astra commented, now doing what she called temporal fartleks between time zones. This is perfect training for my ultramarathon next month. Though the time dilation does make it tricky to track my splits. As she approached a particularly dense cluster of temporal anomalies, Astra pulled out her phone. Anyone want to join my temporal Strava segment? I'm thinking of creating a new category for time warp training runs. The Federation Sports Science Department had collectively started questioning their understanding of endurance training. 3 members had already begun a research paper titled The Human Zone 2. Temporal paradoxes hate this one simple trick. Luminix's energy patterns had developed what appeared to be a nervous twitch. How? How are you maintaining temporal coherence without quantum stabilization? Oh, Astra shrugged, jogging in place while simultaneously existing in 3 different temporal states. It's kind of like finding your rhythm in a long run. You just get in the zone and go with it. By the way, does anyone have a gel? Time displacement really depletes your glycogen stores. In the diplomatic section, Ambassador Reed was updating Earth's file again. Standard human endurance note. What other species consider temporal impossibilities, humans treat as training variables. Recommend updating all time-based challenge assessments accordingly. The Federation's Temporal Athletics Commission had just one question remaining. What's a fartlek? The mental arena manifested as a vast crystalline labyrinth, its walls shimmering with neural patterns and psionic energies. Unlike the physical challenges before, this trial tested pure cognitive ability through increasingly complex multidimensional puzzles. The psychic puzzles, Luminix intoned, their energy form resonating with the chamber's neural matrices, challenge competitors to solve problems that exist simultaneously across multiple planes of thought. Even our most advanced quantum minds require significant processing power to... Oh, hey, this is like that escape room I did last weekend, Asher interrupted, already pulling out a small notebook and pencil, except with more existential riddles. Quick question, are we allowed to take notes? I like to keep track of my puzzle-solving strategies. Xerix 9, their form already interfacing with the chamber's higher cognitive frequencies, flickered with exasperation. This isn't some simple entertainment. These are quantum-level logic problems that have driven lesser minds to collapse. Right, Astra nodded, now doing what she called her thinking stretches while simultaneously sketching pattern recognition notes. Kind of like those Sunday crosswords my quantum physics professor used to give us for extra credit, though these have more interdimensional variables. The trial began. Xerix 9 expanded their consciousness into the puzzle matrix, their energy form processing billions of potential solutions per nanosecond. Their approach was a masterclass in quantum computation and psionic analysis. Then they noticed Astra's method. She was treating the entire psychic challenge like what she called a brain training workout, solving multidimensional paradoxes through what she described as common sense and decent pattern recognition. In sections requiring simultaneous processing of infinite variables, she simply drew little diagrams and muttered, "If this goes here, then that probably goes there." Unfathomable, the Federation's chief cognitive analyst declared. Their neural monitors overloading. She's solving quantum logic gates using doodles and educated guesses. It's all about breaking big problems into smaller ones. Astra explained while casually resolving a paradox that had stumped the Federation's best minds for centuries. Plus, these patterns are pretty similar to the climbing route planning we do at the gym. You just have to think in 3, or I guess 11 dimensions. The observation deck had descended into cognitive dissonance. The neurosciences division was frantically trying to understand how someone could reduce quantum computing to what appeared to be intuitive problem-solving. 3 senior theorists had already downloaded puzzle apps. She's not even utilizing the neural interface. Xerix 9 protested, watching as Astra's simple sketches somehow mapped perfect solutions to impossible problems. She's just thinking really practically. Actually, Astra commented, now solving what she called quantum Sudoku while snacking on brain-boosting trail mix. This reminds me of those logic puzzles we used to do during lunch breaks. Though the extra spatial dimensions do add an interesting twist, as she approached the final set of paradoxes, Astra pulled out her phone again. Anyone want to join my weekly puzzle club? I'm thinking of adding a quantum mechanics section. Great for keeping the mind sharp. The Federation's Cognitive Enhancement Department had collectively started questioning their understanding of intelligence. 2 members had already begun a research paper titled The Human Approach. Why overthinking quantum physics might be your problem. Luminix's energy patterns had developed what looked like a tension headache. How? How are you resolving these paradoxes without quantum computation? Oh, you know, Astra shrugged, solving an impossible equation while doodling in the margins. Sometimes the simplest answer is right there in front of you, or behind you, or in an alternate dimension. By the way, does anyone want some trail mix? Mental gymnastics really work up an appetite. In the diplomatic section, Ambassador Reed was making another update to Earth's file. Standard human problem-solving note. What other species achieve through quantum computing? Humans accomplish through winging it with style? Recommend updating all cognitive assessment parameters accordingly. The Federation's Psychic Research Division had just one final question. What exactly is in that trail mix? The ultimate arena materialized as a reality-bending masterpiece, combining all previous trials into one impossible gauntlet. Time-warp gravity wells intersected with quantum puzzle fields, while energy matrices required perfect synchronization across multiple dimensions. The Omnithon, Luminix announced, their voice resonating across all temporal frequencies, represents the absolute peak of athletic and cognitive achievement. No single being has ever completed. Hang on, Astra interrupted, typing on her phone. Just updating my workout plan. Should I log this as cardio, strength training, or meditation? Maybe all 3? The challenge commenced with devastating intensity. Xerix 9 launched into action, their energy form pushing the boundaries of what even their advanced species could achieve. They navigated time-shifted gravity wells while solving quantum equations, their form a blur of pure potential. Then Astra started her full-body workout routine. She treated the entire Omnithon like some kind of interdimensional circuit training, combining her previous approaches into what she called functional fitness for the multiverse. She jogged through time distortions while doing quantum physics calculations, used gravity anomalies for resistance training, and maintained perfect energy alignment through what appeared to be a combination of yoga breathing and casual parkour. She's transcending the fundamental laws of reality through cross-training. The Federation's Ultimate Analytics team watched in disbelief as their monitoring systems crashed one by one. It's all about muscle confusion, Astra explained while simultaneously running backwards through a time loop, solving an impossible puzzle and maintaining quantum harmony. Though I should probably add this to my cross-training schedule. Great for working those multidimensional muscle groups. One standard galactic month later, the Federation's Grand Chamber had undergone a remarkable transformation. Energy beings practiced yoga, crystalline entities attended HIT classes, and even the quantum consciousness collectives had started joining weekly puzzle clubs. The galaxy will never be the same, Luminix mused, their energy form now sporting what appeared to be athletic wear. They watched as Astra led a packed class called Quantum Cardio, breaking physics, breaking sweat. You know, Astra said, helping a group of energy beings perfect their temporal plank holds. Earth has tons of other fitness trends you might enjoy. Ever heard of CrossFit? The entire Federation shuddered collectively at the implications. Ambassador Reed's final report to Earth contained just one line. They thought they were testing our limits. Instead, they discovered that human recreational activities are more demanding than their ultimate challenges. Meanwhile, Astra had already started planning the first intergalactic fitness games, featuring events like quantum parkour, temporal triathlons, and multidimensional marathon. She was also developing a new app called Couch to Cosmic Consciousness, a beginner's guide to breaking reality. The galaxy would never be quite the same, but at least everyone would be in better shape.